अपना सबके करी थी ना।
हाँ अन्नपूर्णा जी नमस्कार सब आदमी
नमस्कार नमस्कार सबके मुकेश जी छथिन की लागला हम शायद देखलिए
हम छिए
जी मैडम हम सॉरी
अच्छा
सॉरी
जय मंडल जी
नहीं हम नहीं देखली उनका अखन तक
जय मंडल जी तो बेचारा सवेरे से अथी लिखी छ तो उनका तो आवे के चाहे
ओखन फाइनल ड्राफ्ट करे थे ता
नवीन जी आ छी
नहीं देखलिए अखन
अच्छा हम एक मिनट दो हम आई नो जय मंडल जी wanted to be here so I'm going to make a quick call to Jay Mandal ji to see if he's there.
Dheeraj ji, quick question. Shall we be also part of this or it's only founding?
Well, I mean, it's for all us, yes. All of us, but yeah, you know, I mean, since this is founded.
Dheeraj ji, Jay Mandal ji kahalkin you are not letting him in. So please.
No, I don't see him here.
He says that he's been waiting to join.
Dheeraj ji,
relax करियो ठीक है.
Dheeraj ji, जय मंडल जी बोले छत वो 1 घंटा से बैठल छत उनका एंट्री नहीं मिल रहा है.
नहीं उनका नाम ही नहीं दिख रहा से आते लॉबी में.
एक बार लिंक आहा के टेक्स्ट में पिठले आ देना प्रत्याश जी देख लिया
जे के कहियो ना हैंग अप करते आ फिर एक बार कोशिश करला
केना करू ना एक बार हैंग अप करू
हां
आ फिर ट्राई करू त कहला त कहि छत एक्सेस ते देले छी
रीजॉइन करला
एंड कॉल मी देयर आहा के केना नहीं भेल त हमरा फोन करब.
Lalit bhai ji, nice kurta maestro.
Yeah, nice hair too.
के दू बेर तोरा मौका भेटे नेब्रास्का में पहिरा के कुर्ता अंटा के जखन हो जे तखन कहै छै भाई हां तो थैंक यू.
लुक्स लाइक शादी नहीं करे जा रहल छी अहाँ
मन तो होय लेकिन की करबा
We'll give a couple of minutes to Jay Mandal ji to see if he can log in.
ध्रुव भाई तो कहियो ना
धीरज जी उनका देखब तो बोलब यदि जय मंडल जी लॉग करे छ तो बोलब.
जी जी बिल्कुल हम यहां नहीं देख रहल छी उनका. हम लॉबी हटा देने से एवरीबॉडी कैन ज्वाइन कोनो रेस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं.
लिंक सुने तो कहीं फोन करला कि कखनो का
लिंक तो 200 नहीं पड़ गेल उनका
नहीं पता नहीं एक ही लिंक से आज के हम फिर उनका ईमेल कर दै छी.
हां एकटा ईमेल क दियौ
उनका नंबर पर टेक्स्ट कर दियौ ना होय छै त
हम टेक्स्ट क चुकल छी. I have sent him a text.
He was very enthusiastic about joining.
Yeah. तो अपने के सेक्रेटरी और ट्रेजरर की रिपोर्ट लंबा या कि ब्रीफ में है? अगर ब्रीफ में या तो टाइम यूटिलाइज कर लेते हैं.
You can find the link.
नहीं हमारे तो बहुत छोट से
हम आए के पर
छोटे से
नहीं एंड में कह सकै छी.
Okay, sure, no problem.
I think
you want to join in desktop. आहा के कोन ईमेल छी अंटा में jpmandal@gmail.com पर एक बार फिर लिंक पठा दियो त.
जी पठा दै छी.
जी पठा देने छी.
एक बार फिर पठा दियो उनका नहीं मिल रहा है. अहाँ अपना अथी में देखो जंक में जस्ट इन केस बाय द वे.
अब ये पठेली सर अब ये पठेली तुरंत.
ओ दूटा ईमेल देने छली अब कोन में पठेली त बिलाही छै कि कोन छै एकटा जीमेल छै त दुनु में पठा दियो.
जेपी मंडल वाला में पठा
अले देखो तो एमे ओके हम वही जोड़े छी. हाथ जब तक नहीं भीतर अंदर आब तब तक अहाँ के छोड़े वाला नहीं छी हम अहाँ.
By the way, सबके बहुत बढ़िया प्रोग्राम, बहुत बढ़िया रिपोर्ट, so very good. This was very exciting.
जी जय मंडल सर ज्वाइन कर लो।
देखो ना की कलिया
राजेश ज्वाइन कर ले मैडम।
Looks like you're in.
जी जी
Looks like you're in. ल हम फोन रखी छी त। Sorry about that, by the way. The Zoom के अथी में ना होबे करे छै, too many Zoom calls and there is always challenges.
नमस्कार नमस्कार नमस्कार
नमस्कार पधारिए
शुरू करी छी अपना सबके I'll be bounty of time. Of course, I know that there is a limited time, too much to discuss. So welcome, good afternoon, everyone. अब हम तनका मिक्स में बोलब English versus Nepali, कभी-कभी मैथिली. I fail in all three, by the way. So combine रथ हमरा तरफ से अथी के. हम यहाँ Ohio Columbus में छी. Before starting, I would like to first, instead of me saying a few words about each of our distinguished panels here, our founders, 2 sentences is about you. वैसे ज़्यादा किनको मालूम है चाहिए, if you want to find out more about these founders, ANTA पर उनका सबके लगभग description छ, please go and see. But I would like to first start with Annapurna Didi to say just 2 sentences about yourself.
Okay, thank you सबके. नमस्कार. हम एठाम अन्नपूर्णा देवी, हम नॉर्थ कैरोलिना केरी में छी. ANTA के जब शुरू भेलै तब से हमरा से फाउंडर सब कुछ वे करी गए 2005 से पता है. Besides the ANTA involvement, I'm a certified superior court mediator in North Carolina. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Didi. Ratan Jhaji, Bhaiji Achi. I know he is in Nepal, by the way. I bet if he were here, he would have been here. And right now in Nepal, it's about what, 2 o'clock in the morning. So on behalf of him, apologies to all the members, by the way. Mukesh Daiji.
I'm TH.
A couple of sentences about yourself.
Or say something about myself?
Yeah.
Well, I'm Mukesh Singh. I live in Columbus, Ohio. Originally, I'm from Sarlahi, Malangwa in Nepal. I have 2 kids and wife, and we live in Dublin. All right.
Thank you, Dai. By the way, मुकेश जी जहाँ जाइ छथन हमरा पकड़ ले जाइ छथन. उनका घर हमर घर, it's about a stone throw away. Lalit Jha जी.
हमर नाम ललित झा, हमर घर भेल जनकपुर. एठम लिंकन नेब्रास्का में रहे छी. Professionally I'm a water resources engineer. Yes. कन्या 3टा बच्चा, दोनों मिलाकर, दोनों तरफ से मिलाकर 3टा.
और जनकपुर वासी
3 बच्चा हमर 24 बरस के. Do the math. Anyway.
And he's 32 years old, by the way, no?
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm done.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's Dr. Pramod Kant.
हमार नाम भेल प्रमोद कंठ. हम बीरगंज से छी और एठाम हम डेटन ओहायो में राइट स्टेट यूनिवर्सिटी में पॉलिटिकल साइंस में फैकल्टी छी.
Thank you, sir. Navin Datta ji, Hachi. Okay.
Navinda, you have not unmuted your microphone.
Yeah.
Sorry, नमस्कार सब जना के. हम नवीन दत्त भाई छी. हम डेनवर कोलोराडो में रहे छी और प्रोफेशनली हम इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियर छी, चिप डिजाइन करे छी. और हमर कन्या और एकटा बेटी है. बेटी आई बेर से बॉस्टन यूनिवर्सिटी गेला. That's pretty much it.
नवीनदा कथि कहै छै घर कतऽ भेल?
घर
कोन हाई स्कूल गेलियै सेहो कहियो.
अच्छा ठीक छै. हम सब सप्तरी के छिए, सप्तरी कंचनपुर के छिए ओरिजिनली, लेकिन हम सब तो अब काठमांडू में रहलों बेसी काल. So my upbringing was in Kathmandu, most of it. Then high school so laka bahare रहलों हरदम. So I went to modern Indian school in Kathmandu, and then I went to Ranchi to do my two-year schooling for 12th grade. Then I went and did my engineering from Punjab Engineering College. Finally came here and did masters in Southern Illinois University. Denver alone, Denver's Denver about 25 years now, 27 years to be more precise.
That's much better. Actually, Rajesh ji, this is two sentences not enough.
I'm way like earlier warning the league because of timing issues we have. I would rather discuss more on the issue than apna sabke je chhe wahi par. So my sincere apologies of wahi kara rahal chi.
No, matlab dekhiyo, if you know the founders, your all problems solved. Okay, short हमारा यहाँ डिस्कशन ये कहा तो हम तो सबसे पहले हम जते भी फाउंडर छी उनकर सेवक छी बिना हमारे इतने काम से कि जते भी फाउंडर से हम सब हमारे सीनियर छथिन and because of them ANTA is today here. I am here today and I have a opportunity to speak. हमारे घर वाला यहाँ का बेली चपेना सप्तरी तकर बाद हम गेलों काठमांडू अस्कल तकर बाद चाइना में इंजीनियरिंग करलों मास्टर्स ओकर बाद दुबई में हम अहाँ 2 साल इंजीनियरिंग काम करलों तकर बाद अमेरिका में 2000 में एलों 2001 में हमरा कथि गई से 2001-2 में मुकेश दाई भेटलिनी उनकर बाद हम रतन जी ललित जी के अहाँ के एने कन्वेंशन भेटलिए तही ठाम हमरा अहाँ के नवीन दाई के भेट भेले ओकर बाद अहाँ के जिलेबी लाके अहाँ के खोजत फिर डॉक्टर कंठ के भेटलों फिर अहाँ के अटलांटा में अन्नपूर्णा दी के भेटलों तकर बाद अहिना करत ललित जी का प्रॉमिस के लिए कि ललित जी अहाँ नेब्रास्का से कोलंबस आओ अहाँ के हम BMW कन्वर्टेबल में पिक करब तब अहाँ के एने कन्वेंशन लाज तकर बाद बहुत मना के कहलिए जे हमरा देखियो एकटा सेवा करे ले मौका दियो that's how the ANTA come at the house of Mukesh Singh Dai. So I'm very pleased today you guys are doing this and this is awesome and congratulate President ANTA President AJG for doing this.
Thank you, Jay Mandal ji. The goal was to introduce to the larger community of who the founders are. हमारा नाम राजेश है हम सरलाई जिला से थी originally. नेपाल में बुरानगंज में पढ़ ली यहाँ आके कोरियल में पढ़ ली अभी
African American chicken today.
अभी यहाँ by the way कोई अति थी तो बरू अपना के म्यूट कर ले हम पहले बोल रहे थे my sincere apologies to the founders and larger diaspora because there may be some pointed questions I'm going to ask you. The goal is to help kind of move forward for the larger community. I say hopefully larger community ke ye milte ki the founders are there always to assist. And with that, there may be some pointed questions that I have asked larger ANTA community who I have reached out to or they have reached out to me in last few years. So it's not to put my main goal here would be what should we do moving forward to bring the larger community together, but we have to also kind of touch the past, what happened, and then move forward, and hopefully something generates from this that will help the larger Madhesi community, large or ANTA or its affiliates. So my sincere apologies if I'm not a politician. I don't know how to speak politically, by the way. So Hamra jab operator Haji reach out kalan to unka hum ye baat kar li ki if you want me as a moderator, they may I may not go. It may not go the way others may want.
Rajesh ji, first of all, thank you for doing this moderation. You do not have to apologize for anything. You can ask any questions. We are very transparent. We are very candid, and we are here to help as whatever level we can do. So please go ahead and ask any tough question. It's fine.
Okay, so let's start. As you know, I want to touch a little bit on the past, what happened. So as you know, founders, ANTA, when it was built initially, it still is. The main purpose was unity among Madesi community, to help greater growth, integrate Madesi with other communities, the vision. But now it went through several struggles. The Ma was the byproduct of certain things, as we know, back in 16. And now, in the last few months, as you may have seen, the emails and the bickerings, apparently there is another faction going on within ANTA community. What should founders do to reconcile all these factions, or have you done anything? That's number one. Think about this before, and I'll come to all of you. On that part, the second question is, some people have complained within the community that the founders were not impartial actually on one side versus the other side. Have you been, or what should founders do moving forward to make the greater Madesi community feel that, hey, founders are there always to help without being one side versus others? Annapurna Didi, I'll let you start on that one first. Ladies first.
Okay. What I think, question what founder would have done it, and we were the partial or impartial. In my opinion, of course, I'm founder and we had several meetings. I don't think in any way, any corner of our heart, we have tried to be partial. What we thought, because it took us like 6 and 7 meetings for the founders to discuss about the, ongoing or the, like since May. And it was very tough for us to make a decision as a founder. We cared for ANTA, of course, the people and its leadership, but ultimately the ANTA. And the leadership makes the ANTA or breaks ANTA. So whatever had happened based on what we heard and we saw and we understood, because this interview was done from each member of the EC committee, like executive by election, EC by election, by nomination, and the chapter. So we took interview, and it was very casual. Everybody was set free. It was 3 different times. So all of them are not in one place, and they're not hesitant to say what they say. They're free will. And after that, what we already judged about after the meeting, best option that we had in our mind, that's what we had recommendation, and that really indicates, our decision indicates already all fairness, that we were not being partial, and also we were not trying to heavily support for anybody. Some may have taken wrong way or right way, but we try to fair, not just to be fair, but what future is going to be. And we hesitant to see, and we're concerned that we don't guarantee the future. Therefore, whatever suggestion we had forwarded as advice, ultimate actually the EC are the one they accept or not accept. And that's what we do. So it was just our decision is itself showing the fairness by looking at the long term, whether it was right and wrong in some eyes, that's a different story. But we can question, so it was very fair. There was no any partial from anyone.
By the way, please take a minute or two to answer all these questions. So what should we do, you as a founders do to make them feel that the question is, maybe in founders' heart, they try to be impartial, but maybe the way it was perceived to some, and to some meaning, I'm talking about the leadership role maybe, they have felt that maybe founders were not impartial. What should the founders do to make sure moving forward, anything like this happens, for example, that they feel they were not partial?
Okay, thank you, Rajesh, for the question. Let me give you my perspective. देखियो, जखन हमरा सब फाउंडर सब अहाँ सब मूवी देखना एक जमाना में 7 हिंदुस्तानी चले, हमरा सब के फाउंडर में 7 फाउंडर छे। हमरा सब के यह अहाँ के जहिया से एंटा शुरू भेले तहिया से यह एकटा मकसद छे कि अपना सब जय संस्कार से आयल छे, जय मिथिला संस्कार से आयल छिए, जे दुनिया जय मिथिला संस्कार का राजा श्री जनक छले, जे सब महर्षि के अहाँ के गुरु छले, वह भाव के लायक यूनिटी इज नंबर 1 थिंग वी वांटेड। ते द्वारा देखियो हमरा सब में 7 आदमी लीडर छले, अहाँ के सबसे सीनियर लीडर छले ओइ टाइम हमरा सब में नवीन दत्त जी। He was running ANA, biggest organization in the planet for diaspora Nepali. We had Anpurna ji running women's organization, biggest women organization in the. We had our, very talented attorney. He's running for so many American organizations. So we all 7 founders had ability to lead. वही में सबसे बुड़बक देखियो हम ही चलिए। अहाँ के लास्ट टाइम हम सब आदमी से इंटरव्यू करे चलिए, तो अहाँ के एक आदमी वह कल के अहाँ फाउंडर से बहुत बुड़बक चलिए कि ये अहाँ सब बायलॉ जते निक से नहीं के लिए कि आई अहाँ सब के फाउंडर सब के कोनो राइट्स नहीं है। तो हम तो ये कहब देखियो, हमरा सब के कोनो लोभ मोह माया कर के ए ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में नहीं एलिए कि हमरा नाम आवाक चाहिए। हम तो कथी कहे से रतन जी का क्या बार खुशामद कर पड़ले, मुकेश दाई का कते बार कहले प्लीज प्लीज लेट्स डू द कनेक्ट द कम्युनिटी। हमरा सब में तो एहन कहियो छेबे नहीं केले कि कथी कहे से ललित झा जी, ही वाज सो बिजी, उनका तो कते बार खुशामद करे, ललित जी यू आर ऑर्गेनाइज्ड, यू आर टैलेंटेड, यू आर इंजीनियर, प्लीज हेल्प अस फाइनेंस देयर वी आर। तो अखन जे समस्या भए रहल है एक किस्म से देखबे दिस इज नॉट अ रियली अ समस्या। जे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में वही जमाना में हमरा सबके खोज के खुशामद करके लाबिए, अखन अहाँ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन छै मेन हम देख रहल की छिए एठा कि ओवरऑल मिशन और अपन विजन और गोल्स हम कनी हट गेलिए एहि द्वारा कि everybody wants to serve, but we have to create this flow of leadership development. We have to have these arguments, we have to have this, let the leadership build, let you guys make mistake. तही द्वारा हमरा सब ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में तही टाइम रहे, one time one post, then you serve, you go on, you come here, you learn something and go contribute to society. अब एंटा में अखन नहीं छिए, मतलब थोड़े छिए कि हम नहीं कुछ कह सके छिए, we can do that. हमरा सब फाउंडर के यह छै कि वही टाइम में we all were leaders doing our things. हम आके देखबे तखन नेपाली डायस्पोरा अमेरिका में कौन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हम नहीं रन के लिए है। So it's not that अखन हम अमेरिकन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में कैलिफोर्निया मॉर्गेज प्रोफेशनल एस्टेट अखन आके ट्रेजरर छी। अखन लास्ट if you see my 20-year history in America, I have been running in a non-profit almost 15 years. So the idea is unity. एक तो अपना सबका मधेसी सबका पॉपुलेशन कम छे, तैमे एकटा इंटरेक्शन नेटवर्क बढ़े, ते हिसाब से यदि देखल जाए तो यदि अहाँ कोर वैल्यू मिशन विजन और गोल्स के देखबे and everybody think why I'm here, what I'm doing here, यदि अहाँ के मेंबरशिप में एहन यदि थॉट प्रोसेस है तो ई प्रॉब्लम अहाँ के हेबे न करबे। So as a partiality के बात करी छिए, see we always we fight with the Lalit ji, we fight with the Mukesh Dai, we fight with the Naveen Dai, but we come up with the conclusion what is best for our members. So that time when we started this organization, our goal was to make a model organization that even the ANA people that time used to say, wow, look at these guys, how their program is running, how they're professional they are. So the idea जी अखन की भेले अहाँ के बहुत दिला के बाद जे अखन अहाँ के मिक्स डेमोग्राफिक अखन एले है, बहुत ही आदमी एटा चलेले अहाँ के जे अमेरिकन जे संस्कार छे, अमेरिकन सिस्टम छे ओते मालूम नहीं छे। So basically they are trying to अखन अहाँ के मिंगल वाल खिचड़ी भए गेले कि मतलब कल्चर वाइज। So how do you build a great organization? You build a great organization by creating a good culture. That culture is lead by the mission and vision of the goals. अखन की भए गेले different लोग आवे छे अपने हिसाब से चलऽ लागे छे। So that is a here fight, but I think if you really try to pinpoint what is the problem, this is a good problem. We need to hire leadership, understanding and supporting that culture installed in ANTA again, so that we can move forward and we can solve all the problems. Because see,
mixed population. Sorry, I have to cut you off. Dr. Kat, Jay Mandal ji bara banya bolalti ne ego baat ki mixed population आले, and of course we have different opinions, and maybe that's one of the reasons Jay avati bhelai. What should founders, how will founders play a role to bring the different thoughts and process together to for ANTA to move forward?
You are asking me?
Yes, sir. Professor Sahib wahi chi ta.
हम में जे छै से जना अन्नपूर्णा जी कहले थे, जय मंडल जी से उठले थे बात के, we had a series of meetings specifically on the ongoing crisis in ANTA. And the ongoing crisis, to be very clear, is that ANTA is split right now. Executive committee is split. We don't have one organization, you know, so it is on the verge of having third reincarnation. You know, we had the second one earlier. Now it is at the verge of going through the third one. So I may say, as far as founders we are concerned, we are powerless, and we are powerless in the sense that we did not, as Jay Mandal said, we did not reserve any special power for us, because we did not anticipate that this would go through this kind of contest of personalities and factionalism, and that you can say that was poor foresight on the part of founders or those who wrote the bylaws, you know. But as the bylaw exists right now, it exists more in violation of spirit and letters both, rather than in terms of compliance. So वही चीज के यहाँ जो देखबे तो basic problem तो यहाँ के existential है. So once you have existential problem, then thinking about broader things does not make much sense to me. Okay, so right now ANTA is in a very delicate position where people have very little confidence in the organization. Organization itself is imploding from inside, and how to resolve that, as Jay said, we made our recommendations to the both executive committee people, you know, and I did not hear anything after that. Jay, did you hear anything after that, after we wrote the recommendation and those who were sent to them? Did they even respond?
They responded, but I did not get any kind of their official, the person who is supposed to.
Right. So both of them responded like, okay, they saw our report, right, but there was no response, no reaction, and so it was completely mute kind of response.
And also, as you very good point you brought, that they because we took so much time and we did a meeting after meeting, we interviewed everybody, we tried to come up with the solution, and but we pointed out the solution. So basically, I feel that maybe it was not very well accepted in both group, so they didn't react. They created some of the group to go talk, but I think that was not meaningless, so I didn't bring you two guys. So I feel that still there is we are still waiting what they are going to respond. We gave enough time. So I think we are as it is there. Nothing has developed after that. We gave the resolution.
So coming back, Saji, coming back to your question, at this point for ANTA going forward, I think the pathway is sort of very muddled. And what I think is maybe ANTA should be like कथी कहै छै नेपाल में जे मधेसी सब के अखन नया राष्ट्रीय प्रजातांत्रिक कथी पार्टी बनलै है
जसपा
हां त तहिना छै से एठाम जे छै से let ANTA be like maybe 50 ANTAs. Okay, so this year every time we have convention and new election, another ANTA is born. So maybe in 10 years we'll have 10 ANTAs. And let those 10 ANTAs, just like in China, Mao Zedong के era में नहीं कही चले let 100 flowers bloom. तो तैना है से आप 10 टा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन थे तो कम से कम 10 आदमी के जरूरत थे तो 10 टा 100 आदमी तो एक्टिव हो जाते हाँ तो एहि दुआरे जे छै से एकरा जे छै से अनडेमोक्रेटिक मूव नहीं कहि कऽ आ ट्रेडिशनल जे हमर सबके अप्रोच है जे सब आदमी यूनाइटेड भऽ कऽ रही तो हमर सबके पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू नहीं मिले या जाइते नहीं मिले या आइडिया नहीं मिले या तो अहाँ केना यूनाइटेड भऽ कऽ रहबै तो सब आदमी अपन अपन बांसुरी बजाओ तो अहाँ के एकटा ब्राह्मण के ग्रुप बनाओ एकटा शाह के ग्रुप बनाओ एकटा कायस्थ के ग्रुप बनाओ आ से सब बनबे करते ओहिना जेना जिस तरीका से चल रहल छै तै तरीका से चलते आब एहि में जे अहाँ कहबै जे हम अपन बच्चा सबके लबिए तो ओकरा हम कथी कहि के कन्विंस करिए जे ANTA जे छै से आइडियल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन छै अहाँ ज्वाइन करू because they say they don't even know what you guys are doing and most of the times you guys are fighting most of the times you guys are arguing and every time I attend ANTA meeting I go out disgusted and so sleepy and depressed. So if this is how ANTA is going to run, this is the type of leadership we are going to have, it's worthless organization. So there's not much point in thinking about many other things as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you, sir. Let me go to our lawyer, sir. यो ई जे बोलल गेलै है मुकेश दा यहाँ पर आ रहल छी कि bylaws में ऐसे न है जे founder के कुछ power रखती है, maybe that would have helped. Do you think maybe in certain time maybe our bylaws gets amended so that founders have some say at least for the betterment of greater Madhesis?
In following up with the Pramod Dai's point, I personally view this thing a little bit differently, okay? For me, ANTA's, all of the founders were pioneer in establishing a Madhesi organization. I knew then that just like when we had ANMA was born in the Nepali community first organization, then immediately within the year, ANA was born. So, and then so on and so forth, and we have over around 2,500 Nepali organization today. So I never thought that ANTA will be the sole organization of the Tarayan people or Madhesi people in the United States to begin with. And I personally don't think that when MA has been established doesn't mean that we are not united. Because whenever I have talked to anybody, the MA leadership, they have given me same respect, or they like when I go to Texas or Sunil will welcome me in the same fashion that he was. Last time Sunil was here, he came to my house and we had a great time. Vinod was here, we had a great time. So I don't see ever that MA is, establishment in MA is failure of ANTA. Like Pramod Dai was saying, let the 100 flowers bloom. Yeah, definitely everybody is ready for leadership. Everybody wants to show their work. Then there is nothing wrong with that. If there is another ANTA is born and some of the in procedural matter, if this thing were, they could not function as the same executive team, then I'm fine with that. I personally don't see anything wrong with that. Because if Indradeep ji wants to open another organization and show his leadership and do something for the Tarayan community, that's perfectly fine. So we as a founder, I think our role in terms of establishing a Tarayan organization or Madhesi organization, we're done. I don't see that we need to do extra effort to, of course, we are always going to be founder of ANTA and we can always give our suggestion, we can always assist and help, but I don't see that we have to play any role to stop any further, you want to say split, I want to say establishment of any Madhesi organizations. So when I was drafting a bylaws, I was not drafting from the perspective that one day we do have to use the veto power or something like that. I was drafting the bylaws from the perspective of running one non-profit organization. And even today, if I would be doing the same thing, I would never write anything in the bylaws that will show that we will have veto power or we will have some power as a founder, because that's not the traditional way of doing the non-profit organization in this country or any country. Then that becomes a private foundation. That becomes a private organization because certain people will always have a control about that. So I don't think that's a good way to govern. So,
जी
go ahead.
एकटा कमेंट मुकेश दा अहाँ तना कहै छी लागे छै फाउंडरेशन में 70 वाला 3 आदमी भए गेल हमरा सबके लागे छै फाउंडर 70 करऽ पड़लै एटा just for the so actually I just want to support that. Why this vision? We discussed a lot about this one. क्योंकि हमरा सब कहलिए कि आइ हमरा सब रन करै छी मे भी 10 साल के बाद कोई नया लीडर हेतै तो यह है कि we do not want any. See, we build this road for you. You guys run it however you want to run it. यदि कल में खराब होते तो कल में हमरा सब के लिए आप सब दिन हमरा सब थोड़े कह सकै छियै. So that's the reason why no control is the best control. That's how the leadership evolves, and that's how if there's somebody approach us, and then we will always there to help. So that's why we didn't put this kind of these people are saying why don't you have founders? We need a continuation of the leadership. We need this ANTA should become a platform, a transition of developing the leadership. That was the goal.
So Naveenji, do you think that goal has been achieved or it's being achieved, or what's going on with the goal?
I firmly believe, Mukesh Dai or Jay Mandal ji that kahalkin, I firmly believe that the founders should not have any role whatsoever in governing this organization. Yes, we are there for the betterment, for giving them advice and everything, but we are not there to stifle growth. Unka sabke naya executive committee, regardless of who comes there, they should never have to feel that there is the founder's dagger lying on top of their head and monitoring their activities. That stifles their freedom and the creativity and everything. None of the bylaws ever drafted has ever had that clause in there. The founders, I think they did a great job, and then that's the end of the story. That's pretty much it. Now, a couple of other things, अब कहल की बात जे छले जे कि हम सब impartial छलौ कि नहीं छलौ, we were impartial. bylaws में जे छै से सब चीज हरदम नहीं लिखल जा सकै छै. सब bylaws में कोनो न कोनो खामी रहते छै, even the Constitution of the United States, and that's the reason why you have so many amendments. This type of thing was not thought about. So there's an opportunity to amend the bylaws and move forward, and that's the end of it. लेकिन की होय छै जे कि bylaws के अगर कोनो गलतियो भेलैया bylaws में, तो by inference and by what is acceptable generally, people should accept those things and then just move on. अब कोई resign कर देलकै and then she turned her resignation back, and that doesn't necessarily mean that bylaws में कोनो चीज लिख लेने नहीं रहले तो आप जैसे से उनका निकालो. That is a wrong thing, I think, in my opinion. Now, having said that, अपन perspective सबके different perspective. दोसर बात जे छै से उठले एठाम जे कि whether we should have many organizations and there should be, people are free to do whatever. Yeah, of course, people are free to do whatever they want to do. They can have as many organizations as they want. But the problem is we are so few here. Look at the diaspora. Madesi kate jana hai hum sab? 20,000? 20,000 hai ki nahi?
Actually, maybe 5,000 hai.
5,000. Yeah, see, that's the thing. 5,000 मधेसी छी, वही में 3टा organization जे छै से अखने बन चुकल छै, almost on the verge of becoming another one. So that's 3. Ma भ गेल, ANTA भ गेल, और ANTA 2 भ गेल, whatever. So 3टा तो भ गेल एठाम.
Then is actually अखन मधेसी organization there is more than 15.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So the problem ki chhe je ki, yeah, you can have many organizations. The problem is that you are vying for the same resources and the same people. Basically 90% of the people, they are silent. They wo sab kuch kare wala nahi chhe. This is acceptable fact, not saying anything against anybody, but what I'm saying is that आदमी सब जे छै से ओहिना होय छै. Basically, a lot of people are their followers. They are just mute spectators. They go and have a fun time when the convention happens, whatever. बाकी के टाइम में जे छै से काम करे वाला सिर्फ 10 आदमी होय छै. आहाँ के चंदो देवे वाला जे छै से आहाँ के 25% आदमी जे population है, आहाँ के वह चंदा देता और कोई चंदा नहीं देता. So you are basically vying for the same resources. That's where the problem lies. अहाँ जे छै से skills के लेल fight कर रहल छी, अहाँ जे छै से पैसा के लेल fight कर रहल छी, अहाँ सब चीज के लेल fight कर रहल छी. आ उ जे छै से की हेतै कि divided we are going to be weaker and weaker. So that's the problem with this. तो अब एकरा जे छै से केना solve कैल जाय? अब solve केना हेतै? जावेद काल जे छै से लोग सब में जे छै से कोनो त्याग के भावना नहीं हेतै, this problem is not going to be resolved. आप जना देखियो, आप दोनों आदमी में से दोनों पार्टी वारिंग फैक्शंस में से एक आदमी जावेद काल झुकते ही नहीं, कहते कि okay, let's talk and figure out what the solution is. Okay, जावेद काल झुकबे नहीं, हम सब कोनो आदमी कोनो पार्टी झुकते ही नहीं, जावेद काल की कह सके छी हम सब तो recommendation देने हैं रहिए. We gave the recommendation. I think Aparajita ji said, she said that, well, thanks for your recommendation, but we're not going to accept it. I think that's what she said. I mean, bluntly speaking. I don't think that he even responded. So, you know, so he didn't say anything at all. So basically, Javed Kal, hum sab dono party jise say Javed Kal, when we don't want to talk to each other or don't want to come to a resolution, this problem isn't going to go away. Hum sab
actually, I just want to hear say something about in other parties. I have formed 3-member committee and they are willing to talk. Something that kind of email came.
Okay,
but
yeah, I remember that. Yes,
I thought that was meaningless, so I didn't report to you guys and didn't mention.
Yeah,
she responded to the founders officially. I want to move to Lalit Daiji.
Rajaji, एक second, I want to add like one few sentences here. So देखियो, अखन दुनिया में सबसे बड़का why Mukesh Dai was talking, I just want to elaborate on that one. अखन देखियो, दुनिया में सबसे बड़का organization United Nations of Organizations, countries, right? वही में 5टा देश का veto power छे. वही veto power के देखियो, अखन United Nations के पूरा निष्क्रिय भए गेलै है, कोनो काम नहीं है छे, इमहर से आबै. तही द्वारा यदि फाउंडर सब को हमरा सब बात करना रही, what if we have permanent veto power? And एक आदमी veto करते एक founder they can dissolve the resolution, because we wanted the leadership develop. We want new people to come. We do not want somebody to say, hey, these 7 founders are holding us. The idea was freedom, leadership development, new generation, transition of power, and we are there like an elder to just help them. And if there is a problem, we are there for you guys. Still you want us, we will go, and whatever we need to do, we will do it. We have not left. But लेकिन problem की है कि अब new generation आवे से कि founder सब कोई बातें न करे से कोई आवे न करे. अरे हम लोग ने तो बना के दिया है गाड़ी, चलाओ अच्छा से चलाओ. अगर नहीं है, पैसा नहीं है, अगर आइडिया नहीं है, तो हमसे पूछो, हम जो help करना होगा हम करेंगे. That is the whole idea.
Lalit Dai, thank you, Javandal. Lalit Dai. So let me move a little bit on this point, because this is important, and I think I wanted to focus on before moving forward to a completely different point. I want to transit. Iper general recommendation की छलैया एक reader की question भी देख रहल छी. General recommendation की छलैया, and what should founders, how can founders help in future that things like this do not happen? Is there any help founders? I know you may say it depends on them, but are there any role for founders moving forward that they can play so that things like this does not happen much? Lalit Dai.
Thank you. Again, सबके formally, I really सबके हमर तरफ से नमस्कार. बहुत आदमी के देखे छी, नाम सब बड़ा खुशी. Whatever reason, it's good to see. I have always enjoyed one of the things, whether we're fighting or celebrating, just seeing people, opportunity to see people, it's always bring me joy, you know. And I'm very grateful that I have opportunity to see new faces. Obviously, founders, we have, it's memories to go back to 2001. It's always a very, very good thing. I also want to say, again, I have seen some program today, the NAIL committee, they have worked very hard. And again, it's a volunteer time, and I know we have been part of it. So even though however situation may be, I do want to thank them for their time. I mean, they do what, including conducting this meeting. People have in the committee, people who are volunteering, everybody, and thank you, because we all have other things we could do. So thank you for taking time to do that. Recommendation, detail, basically in the summary recommendation was that that both should be dissolved because we have done our due diligence and we came to determination that there is no way they can work with each other. They are not willing to work with each other. And we had done our due diligence by talking to each of them in several meetings. And we found that they're not going to work, and they're becoming dysfunctional. And for that, they should both dissolve and ad hoc committee be formed. In that, some of the founding members can be included in that, that was the recommendation. And let ad hoc committee do whatever they need to do, revise the bylaws, whatever they need to do, and conduct the election. So that was the recommendation. And frankly, in my mind, that's probably should have gone to, it never went beyond executive committee. I think a lot of people are curious because there won't be any question what the heck founding members did. But that was a recommendation. Moving forward, and again, I have to say that everything founding members have covered that, whether we have done our time, volunteer time, where our heart is. All I can say as the 7 founding members, again, we have had a lot of difference from the day one, 2003. But I can tell you, we have tried to demonstrate how, even though we had a lot of disagreement, but when it came as a result and action, we were always together. We agreed to disagree, but we had a united front. Nobody made one decision. Oh, I want. We try to do consensus. And we lived by that. And to me, that is a way that we live by example, that how we have the differences and we did for common good. And that was our hope, that executive committee or anybody would learn from that. And that's how we have conducted. We will continue to conduct ourselves. We did not want to put in ourselves as a power. But I don't think a founder should have any role, frankly, in running the organization. I don't believe that that is the right thing to do, like for many things. We are happy to give advice. People take the advice, take it or leave it. That's what I think. I believe ANTA, even though it has gone through a lot of upheaval, I believe it is generally good for organization. We have survived. That is sometimes like democracy is ugly, but I think it is a healthy thing in long term. I definitely don't think that, kind of disagree a little bit with that. Should we just give up? Let it be 100 ANTA and whatever, some giant fight. So yeah, I personally think that we should always aspire to be a good organization, and meaning what makes it a good organization. And there's a lot of other good organizations that their example that we should always aspire. We come from Nepal, and we have learned a lot of stuff in America. And I always feel that we should always use the both thing for our benefit. Sometimes what happens, well, what is happening, we're using both things for the disadvantage in like play games or whatever. But we are in a situation that we are privileged or lucky to be here, and we're learning new things, and we should use that in our practice in a running organization or living our life. So going back, Dharmendraji is here, and again, there's a lot of people that I'm very thankful when it comes to running organization. I learned a lot of things from Dharmendraji. He was always, I would ask him when I was the president. And one of the things that Dharmendraji always said, I agreed, that when we are with the time, things have changed. There was more people coming, more demography. I think as an organization, as a leader or committee, we should have made those appropriate adjustments to the bylaws. So for example, there was no election, nobody wanted to run. So there was no need to have detail of election, how to conduct the election. But in 2014, 16, we had the idea that a lot of people have interest. Well, that time, again, some group in that should have, okay, make appropriate provisions. If there was a provision to make an election, again, I'm talking about things which would still have been messy. But if somebody would have foresight, oh, it looks like there is people in election, let's make a committee or something that will facilitate if there is a contested election. Well, in 2014 and 2016 didn't happen. well, then what happens? We have two candidates wanting to do it. There's nothing. We got all the craziness. So I think with the time we should make some of those provisions and improve. Now, bylaws cannot fix everything, but there is things as we see the challenge. That's how we have Congress and all the stuff, you know, that happens. It is a moving document and foresight should be done. Last thing I think I want to say is, and I don't have a solution to it. As I look back at, I was in the thick of those conflicts, 2014, Ma, 16, and all those things. I don't have a solution, but the challenge is that there is going to be a conflict. There is going to be a conflict in the people. You know, there's always a conflict. How do you resolve the conflict? And I always remember, like we see the game, like any football game. There is two teams and there is umpire. And then, you know, football, you know, it's a holding, pass interference, blah blah blah. They never agree, but there's umpire say, you know what, this is penalty, this is not penalty. They had it, they like it. I have failed to see that. We have had a system advisory committee that, hey, this is what should be done. Well, somebody, the president, he has a bank account, said, no, you know, he runs away. That, you know, or so that part is the one I don't have a solution, but I wish there was a system where people would listen to, if they agreed upon bylaws, these are the guys will make some of the decisions or process to make a decision and abide by it. That is one thing I don't know, but I wish it was the case in the bylaws. There's some way to resolve those conflicts without having to go to the court. So that is one thing. Last thing I want to say, I am concerned there is a two ANTA is using the logo. It is legally wrong. There is a potential of big problem. You know, we have registered one thing, one association at the IRA. I just feel like it is a ticking time bomb. We cannot just, I feel like something needs to be done about that. We can't have, either they need to open a different name or something, but that is, to me, is one other thing I just wanted to share. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Yeah, Rajesh, I want to add like 3 things here, solution wise.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so overall we see the problems and we see the solution. Okay, so as a founder, I feel that right now realizing that how the demographic will change, how the organization will become bigger, we didn't think through, and we figured out that, you know, that leadership will figure out, then move on. So idea was, you come here, you serve your 2 year and go. But some people are very passionate, they want to serve more. That's okay. You have love for ANTA and we like it that way. So I feel that here the problems are, see, when you see just think like, we founder came, we build the ANTA and take the company IPO. So now he's in a stock exchange. And now the new leadership comes. Sometimes those, because of their performance, stock goes down or up. So right now you see founder-led organization have this one thing is called the culture of taking care of customer, taking care of the member, doing things the right way. त्यो कल्चर एन्टा हाम्रो फाउन्डरले अब त्यो सिस्टम अलिकति विचार गरेनौ, त्यसरी नगरेको हुनाले अहिले चाहिँ कल्चरमा डाउन डेफिनेटली भएको छ. So what is this one solution is, we have to reestablish our culture, we align with the mission and vision and goals. That has to be there and everybody has to honor that. That's one thing. Number 2, we have to build a system, progression of leadership. जस्तै कि एउटा हामीले अब यहाँ मेन चाहिँ प्रेसिडेन्टको लागि धेरै झगडा हुने रहेछ. So if we have created like president elect, and then that person is learning from the president and slowly take over, so there will be kind of 3-4 years of learning time. So that will resolve this current, like, okay, I want to be president. Third thing is, guys, this is a non-profit. Here you are not coming to get something, you are giving. So if you want to give, you are president, you move on, you can be advisor, you can be other things. But overall, दुवै ग्रुपलाई अथवा सम्पूर्ण म त भन्छु सबैलाई यो जुन मा अरु जति पनि अर्गनाइजेसन छ, we should approach as a kind of thing, let's merge it. If you have leadership, make it bigger, run the chapter, because see अमेरिका धेरै ठुलो छ, एकै ठाउँबाट यो हेल्प गर्न सकिदैन. So if we have more distributed organization and we have umbrella organization, something that provision we feel.
Let me ask you something there. No, I want to inject something. Is any of the founders, and I want to put that burden on the founders, by the way, if it is, will be willing to take on what Jay Mandal just said, maybe try to reach out. And I know it's very difficult task, especially when, and apologies for saying this word, when egos and other comes in play, it's a very difficult task. Is any of the founders, because you've been there, you started this, willing to take on conversation among different factions there are, saying, hey, what do you think?
Rajesh,
Along the line.
Rajesh, I wanna say something on that line. We already have. Okay. We already have. There were, I didn't know if you heard this or not. In the beginning, some people said that we had series of meetings. Thanks to Jay. Jay was championing all of that. Kelkin साहब के घचघचा का एकदम जैसे है नहीं एकरा छोड़ देवे यहाँ सब हम सब फाउंडर छी के ना छोड़ देवे हमारे सब के ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से सब कोई बिजी है सब कोई ये झंझट में पड़ल नहीं चाहे छे लेकिन thanks to Jay we all had series of meetings. We put together recommendation की जब अहाँ एक्सेप्ट नहीं करबे और आगू बढ़ा के लेल जैसे अहाँ सब नहीं देखेबे अपने नियत तो हम सब की करबे वही सिचुएशन में. What do you expect us to do? That's the question that I have. When it is not acceptable, the recommendation is not acceptable to warring factions, right? What is it? What's the solution in that case? We don't have any moral authority to rule one versus the other. We can only say, hey guys, this isn't right. And like Lalit says, this is a ticking time bomb. You have legally, you're basically, you're paralyzing yourself. And so come the end of the year when you have to file taxes and everything, who's filing taxes? Which one? Is Aparajita ji filing taxes or Indra Devi is filing taxes? And who's doing all the compliance stuff? So this is, I don't think that founders can do anything more than this. We already have shown our willingness to do what we have to do. We still are here, not saying that we have washed our hands completely. We're still here, but they have to be at least able to accept some kind of a compromise. If they don't, then you have a stalemate and we're not going anywhere.
Yeah,
Thank you, Naveen-ji.
One point here, Rajesh-ji. See, basically, I forgot to mention this one. See, as a tax consultant, I'm doing tax for the last 4 years. I'm just starting very soon. It's called consulting called Tax Sherpa. So we are going to help the non-profit and other organizations. So what I'm telling you right now, you are in the verge of collapse. You are verge of losing your non-profit. This is going to happen. Somebody complains, somebody goes to IRS, and they will find you. You will never. So basically, आज हामीले 20 वर्षदेखि लिएर 15 वर्ष 17 18 भइसक्यो अब यो चाहिँ अहिले वर्षमा कोल्याप्स भेला भएको छ or somebody will file lawsuit go in again mess and that will be on the negative side. So this is right now everybody who is involved who loves ANTA, if ANTA is dear to you, please think on the guideline. This is a country of rule of law, as Mukesh Dai said. He always stressed that we have to think how we can save the non-profit status of ANTA. And these are our activities going to affect us. So this is a very good question you brought it, Rajesh, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. Didi, 1 minute, because we have to move on. We spent too much time on this. Sorry, go ahead. Didi, 1 minute. One more minute. Go ahead.
Oh, for me, 1 minute. Okay. Hamra opinion se ena lage ki forget about the as a founder right now. We heard everything and you heard from me too. As a members of ANTA, let's say that we all are member, life member or long-term member, and the new member. We have to have some kind of awareness. Like एक आदमी कहल कि जना silent रहे छे, वही हम problem छे जब लोग silent रहे छे. Silent is violence, indeed is violence. तेरे द्वारा एक member के participation, एक हमार personal एक अपनो किताबों में लिखल छे the leadership is everybody business. एक ऐसी committee बाहर खाली अकेले नहीं कर सके छे. ओकरा सबके support चाहिए. पर तो उनको सबके कनी देखे पड़ले छै जे हम सपोर्ट आवे छै राइट इन डिसीजन छै तो ओकरा फॉलो थ्रू को और ब्रिंग द बेटर डिसीजन. दैट्स वेरी ट्रू. तो हमरा ई लागे जे ई चीज क्रिटिकल सिचुएशन में आबि गेल छै ANTA. एहि साल में ई कहानी रहे, एहि से पहले कहानी दूसरे रहे, एहि से पहले देखो since we had started election system somehow it has become very chaos. That's so it's not the ANTA, it's us and you and him. Is our society's problem. It's like we as a Madhesi or Nepali there is some problem in our head. I'm just saying everybody, because just one thing is wrong, then you just the whole society becomes blamed for that. ई कुतन को तो प्रॉब्लम हमरा सब में छे. जेटा ईगो प्रॉब्लम चाहे का चाहना जो हम जे करबे सह हेते वो हमर बात नहीं मानते त एना हेते. यहाँ त हम ब्रेक राके अलग भ जाके. त एई चीज के लिए ठीक से ANTA लेकिन दूसरे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में still belong as a मधेसी community as a नेपाली और ANTA नहीं रहते दूसरी बात ANTA के 102 तो भैया से जना somebody brought IRS is only one number they're not going to issue another IRS for the ANTA so from another ANTA so it has to so I think we as a kind of lenient more humble and nice and being nice and try to save everybody which is good but I think that needs to take away from our mind we are in America the niyam se kabhi kal niyam follow kelasa is for better reason policy is made for people protection and for people's right so wo cheez ka hamra sab ko apni stand to be strict on that and follow through that nate ki je kind se wa lenient or humble let it go chup lagal that they people suffer and they cannot do anything I'm not saying particular person or party ei cheez ka hamra sab seriously leve critical situation mein critical thinking aave chhe तो नंबर 1 तो पहले बाय लॉ से थे दूसर चीज है इलेक्शन जते तो इलेक्शन में कुछ क्राइटेरिया है कुछ स्क्रीनिंग है if anybody stand that doesn't mean you elect them the voting system who can reach more they get it so that means membership is not aware they don't put the hat that they need to be alert and involved engaged make their own decision and for that they need to know what's going on ये सब जब तक नहीं है तो ANTA कोनो भी ANTA अपनी फर्स्ट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से हो गए 20 साल करीब 15-20 साल और सब नया छे so this might repeat to another organization there's an issue in us as a whole community वो चीज के तोड़े के लिए I think we हमरा बहुत आदमी के हम अमेरिकन छी हम अमेरिकन नहीं छी लेकिन अमेरिकन छी yes I am American मैंने so I like to talk like that I like to follow the rule तो हमरा सब एठाम के जो रूल छे ओई चीज पे स्ट्रिक्ट होना छे ककरो झांपना नहीं छे टोकना नहीं छे बल्कि उघारना छे
Okay, hold on. Jamanalji, we have to move on. And now, this is not the only point we want to discuss on.
It's very important. As you said, Anpurnaji, so you are saying that nobody can copy ANTA. See, non-profit organization state level if somebody can ANTA among the some member wants to open ANTA and DC, they can open. They can California. You can't stop them.
I know, but you can't have the same logo and same thing. This is complete.
Yeah. So I'm talking about like they want to open, like say ANTA DC, ANTA California. They can open.
I just want to
okay, let's move forward. We spend. I wanted to spend good amount of time on this. I want to move forward.
ये धर्मेंद्र सर के हम देखै छियै हाथ उठाला बहुत देर भए गेल
ए हां सॉरी हम तो नहीं देख रहल छी सॉरी हां धर्मेंद्र जी बोलू
सबसे पहले तो नमस्कार सबको के और बहुत हमारी खुशी लगी है हम चेहरा से देखी जी सामने में और बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कि कम से कम ये
I can't hear him.
और हमारे
धर्मेंद्र जी यहाँ बड़ा ब्लर आ रहा है और किनको सुनाइए
जी उनका ऑडियो अगर
हम सुनिए हमारा आवाज सुनिए सर
नहीं सर अपने के आवाज का निक डिस्टर्ब आ रहा है
धर्मेंद्र जी आवाज देखो ताले and we'll come back to you याद करो बुझले I want to move on and now the next question is new generation जे छात्र अब ANTA में and I'm talking about जब यहाँ हम सब 20 साल से छी our own kids we want them to feel proud of being the identity चाहे नेपाली छी है ना मधेसी छी है ना plus the नया generation उधर से आ रहा है माने either through DV or education or various means जा रहा है यहाँ so first question is what should ANTA do है ना to help them understand the role of ANTA identify their identity, Nepali and Madhesi. Now, a second question, वही में से B में रख ली थी कि जैसे ANTA over the years has done some really good job. Nepal में help करे के लिए fine example I remember is हम सब नेपाल में unfortunately earthquake मिल रही था we helped at that time. Lookin के project मिल रहा है. मधेश ने कतेक प्रोजेक्ट कैले अभी भी कतेक प्रोजेक्ट करल छ कोविड में कर रहल छ I just realized today there was a donation for something I don't go to Facebook much I don't follow Facebook or others are there any other means for example and I like to help whenever I can especially जहां need है अपना सबके community में तहां है ना but I don't follow on social media much as I can or I want to so two question is how should ANTA help this new generation understand their identity, first who they are, help them, and what are the other means to help the needy ones, either back home or in the US, because there are some members who need help here in the US as well. So what are the avenues should the current executive committee approach to help?
Let me first of all let me give you some my perspective on this one. Rajesh ji, सबसे पहले तो आके if you want to help the new generation, you have to start going in the social media. You have to start following the Facebook. You have no choice. Not only the Facebook, you have to go in the TikTok, you have to go in the Instagram, you have to go on YouTube. And for that one, I really congratulate our president right now, AJG. He has done the ANTA trying to connect with the new generation, trying to build a new website, new Twitter. See, these are the young folks right now. If you are not in their game, you can't connect. Even you tell that, okay, you are the hospitality consultant, they will check your review. How good is Rajesh is doing? So right now, if you want to connect with this new generation, we have to be in social media. We have to connect them. We have to bring them. Actually, look, guys, we are the tree, and you are the fruit of the tree. But you have to know where where is the shoot of the tree. Shoot of the tree means you. Your connection is your root, which is Madhesh, which is Nepal. So if you wanna, यदि एक सब नहीं करबे तो अहाँ के एक जनरेशन दू जनरेशन अपना सब के कल्चर संस्कार सब खत्म भए जेतै। उटा टोटली अहाँ के इठा मेल्टिंग पॉट अमेरिका कल्चर में खत्म भए जेतै। सो दिस इज वेरी वेरी इंपोर्टेंट कि अपना सब के यंग जनरेशन के लाभियो, वहन प्रोग्राम करियो, एकदम वैल्यू एडेड प्रोग्राम कर पड़ते, बिकॉज़ दे आर वेरी स्मार्ट, वेरी टैलेंटेड राइट नाउ। सो इफ यू डू जस्ट लाइक मतलब वैल्यू एडेड प्रोग्राम नहीं करबे तो दैट्स नॉट गोइंग टू हैपन। सो एंटा शुड focus in the tier demographic, and most important demographic is young people who are from, like they say, high school pass करने के बाद 18 से लेकर 30 वर्ष की उम्र में, that is has to be a lot of program focused towards that one. So they will come, give the responsibility, and that's what we want actually. I still remember talking to Lalit ji and Mukesh da ki एक दिन एहन एंटा भेजे कि एंटा convention is our vacation spot. अखन तक लगे छै कि अहाँ के एंटा के मीटिंग में बात करू कपार दुखा लगे छै. So we have to do our best to get rid of these programs and bring that. That will be my perspective for this answer.
Thank you. Pramod ji, जी.
हमारा आवाज सुने छी? हमारा आवाज सुने छी?
जी.
हेलो. अच्छा, तो सबको के नमस्कार. हम फिर
धर्मेंद्र जी कैमरा ऑफ करू तो बहुत के वैसे हमें कनेक्शन बढ़िया है।
जी धर्मेंद्र सर अपने के कैमरा ऑफ कर देवल जाओ तनका हमरा लगे ये सिग्नल के प्रॉब्लम से, तो कैमरा ऑफ करके तनका ट्राई करल जाओ। जी राजेश सर हम
प्रमोद डॉक्टर प्रमोद कांत यहाँ छी, यहाँ के शाह कैली भैया बना ले लिए, बोलू छिया ललित दाई।
हेलो हम छी राजेश।
हाँ त की कल जा अहाँ प्रोफेसर साहब छी एमे ट्रांजिट में, स्पेशली आवर सेकंड, हम सब तो फर्स्ट जनरेशन लगभग भेली। How could we make sure our kids understand what Nepal is and what Madhesi's identities are within that greater goods, and what should we as a diaspora do to help sustain that in the future?
नहीं तो इसमें तो पॉसिबिलिटीज जैसे से बहुत से और बहुत काज सब भेबो के लिए, लेकिन मतलब एक रहा है कि फोकस करो कि इस तो ये हाई स्कूल जैसे से मे बी इट इज टू लेट. यू हैव टू स्टार्ट अर्ली ऑन. यू हैव टू स्टार्ट फ्रॉम एलिमेंट्री स्कूल ऑन. If you want to really cultivate certain degree of awareness and devotion or dedication, whatever you might say, love for our culture, our values, then you have to start doing that from early years. And in order for that to happen, of course, if ANTA pulls itself together, then what you have is you have so many chapters. You have local chapters, you have state chapters, and they can do cultural programs, they can do educational programs, they can here now next generation is more and more going to be motivated towards climate change issues. They are going to be more motivated towards philanthropic issues, you know, And those are the things that will draw them. So if we do programs which are in those kind of directions, helping people medically or relief work, which we have been doing. And as Jay said, we have to take these things to people. And then to younger generation, we have to involve them in cultural activities. We have to involve them in, for example, one of the things that our children did when they were growing up, and we were part of Indian Nepali community, you know, they used to make presentations about India. They used to make presentations about Nepal, you know. So once they do that, then that becomes something concrete for them to relate to. So those kind of programs can be organized when national conventions happen. Those kind of programs can be organized periodically by local chapters or state chapters. And for all that to happen, we have to first get our act together. And but there are a lot of things that can be done to do that. Otherwise, as Jay said, we are going to lose it. Like, and it is not within the power of parents alone to cultivate all these alien, because those are alien values for our children. Okay, it is good values for, it is our innate value, but as far as children are concerned, they don't know much about that society, except for how we behave in our family.
What we have seen is chart has become quite popular now, or at least among Nepali diaspora, even here in the US. We went to DC, my mom was here. That was great. Different cities. My kids got to learn more about chart. I was talking to Parita ji a few days ago regarding this. And by the way, she has done, looking at my own kids, she has done a really good job trying to bring, as you said, kids together in that. And I think she has a program coming up sooner about how to involve kids. I'm talking about second generation within this society of Kahuki Katiko. So there's I think my understanding is there are some programs Parita ji is bringing, targeting especially those kids. Now, all those require funds too. Lalita, what should we do to bring for these, to help these generations? We do need certain funding too. What should ANTA do? How should ANTA do? What and how should ANTA generate funds?
Well, again, I will first, ANTA has to, first we got to get our shit together, okay? I don't know what to tell you. I mean, without getting our, sorry to use that word, we got to get our act together, like, you know, and our act is not getting together. So that is the number one thing. But second, I first time, and that was always the intent of getting children involved. That was from the founding. We had written that in our integrity and our culture and stuff, but frankly, even in the beginning days, we never really emphasized on that. First time I'm seeing real work, and we have done some other work, but in last couple of years through the cultural things, and today I saw about the volunteer program. I mean, that is some of the wonderful thing, I think, to do that. One thing that I do feel that we, again, looking back last 20 years, I think a lot of issues and focus gets distracted because we come here and doing, I'm going to use this, so much energy and time goes in doing a project in Nepal and go take a picture there, you know. I think it has been a distraction. Frankly, I have shared that opinion before, and I will share today. It was built for, ANTA's main purpose was people in America. Well, it has become something else. We are here and raise money and send it there. And frankly, as I go in last 10 years, more and more, $5,000 not, you know, it's just a photo op. And there is some value in letting them know that there's a people in America is thinking about them. You know, that is some value, but real help, no. So to me, there has to be some level of discussion. What is ANTA going to be? Is it going to be raise fund and go to the cold weather? And I think I feel like if that is the case, then make two group. The one that does it in Nepal and one that does it in US. That that is what I would say.
I agree there, because we have somehow not catered to our second generation of Nepal, Madhesi or Nepali community here. I know. What are the ways we can cater to our second generation?
Yeah, I wanted to say a few words there. The problem, I think, in the diaspora here is that we really haven't looked at where we were. हम सब कता छलौं, हमरा सब जे छै से मधेसी in general, we are so marginalized. Even today, marginalized जे छै नेपालो में छै marginalized. आई ठाम के जे छै से हम सब केना हम सब राइज केलौं हैं, ई बात के जे छै से अखन के एग्जीक्यूटिव कमिटी के आदमियों सब के शायद पता नहीं हेतै ई बात जे छै से. So unless we look at our past कि हम सब कता छलौं, जे कि people did not even know कि मधेसियो सब जे छै से एठाम अमेरिका में छै, आ उनको सबके कोनो आइडेंटिटी छै. पूछियो ललित जी से कते बेर जे छै से एंटा के प्लेटफॉर्म हम अपने चैंपियन क के जब हम अपन हमर कार्यकाल रहा ANA में, I made sure that ANTA had a platform to come and talk, and in every forum they had a opportunity to go and represent Tarayans. You know, ललित के पूछियो, रतन के पूछियो कते बेर जे छै से धोती कुर्ता लगा के पैजामा पहिर के जे छै से आयल छै तू सब. हम सब जे छै से अपन बच्चा के जावेद काली सिखेबै ने कि हम सब मार्जिनलाइज छलौं आ हम सब कतऽ से एलौं हैं. आब अखन जाके तो टोटली पर्सपेक्टिव चेंज भ गेल छै. हम सब जे छै से जाइत पाइत में उलझ गेल छी. हम सब जे छै से प्रेसिडेंट बनल चाहै छी, सबके प्रेसिडेंट बनले छै. प्रेसिडेंट बनने वाला तो ओई टाइम में कोई हाथ में भेटतो नहीं छले. जबरदस्ती लोग के प्रेसिडेंट बनावा पड़त रहे. रतन के और ललित के जबरदस्ती खेल का प्रेसिडेंट बनल के या लोग सब. ओहनो दिन रहे. तो जावेद काल हम सब ई बच्चा के देखेबै कि हम सब कतऽ से एलौं हैं आ हम सब कतऽ जा रहल छी. अब ई चीज जे हिस्ट्री हुनका सबके ओकरा बच्चा सबके हम सब नहीं जावेद काल सिखेबै, जावेद काल किछु होबे वाला नहीं छै. बुझलियै ने. So let us inculcate in them that look, we are marginalized people. हम सब marginalized छलौं. Time, even in the United States, we were marginalized. वही चीज के जैसे से हम सब फिक्स करब तो केना फिक्स करब, तो या झगड़ा झंझट क के फिक्स है तो वो चीज कहियो नहीं भ सकै छै. जेना कंठ सर कहलखिन जे कि हम सब जे छै से या देखे बच्चा सब वह देखे छै कि हरदम से अहाँ सब से आर्गुमेंटे करैत रहै छी, हरदम या झंझट करैत रहै छी, तो वो जे छै से नहीं हेतै. आ दोसर बात जे छै ललित जी जे कहलखिन जे बात एग्जैक्टली एकदम हमरो विचार यह है जे कि हम सब जे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बनलो से तो एठाम के लेल बनलो है. हम सब हमरा नेपाल में जो करऽ के है तो नेपाल में जाके NGO खोल के हम सब जे छै से बहुत काम कर सकै छी. अब करू ठीके छै, करू ओहो चीज करू, but that should not be our primary goal. Our primary goal should be to preserve our identity, to preserve the culture that we come from, and to inculcate our kids and teach them that, hey, look, this is where we came from and this is where we're going.
Yeah, so I want to add something here what Navinda said upon what he mentioned. हम तो कहो 2-3 बात. I see we need to reform this concept of the governing style of this by the changing the bylaws. एक तो कहो कि अहाँ के बोर्ड में जो बनावे छिए 6-7 आदमी, वही में अहाँ के you need to take board members age less than 40, almost 4 or 5 members. You should put in the bylaws. You should अखन तो हम चाहे कि अखन माइकल झा जना कि नवीन दत्त की like दाइका बेटी, कौशल झा सब उनकर बेटी, अपना से एज एक नया जनरेशन को वही महा लागू. एक्चुअली यू हैव टू हैव जना कि 7 आदमी चाहिए, 7 आदमी 3 आदमी यंगर जनरेशन से लागू बोर्ड में. इफ एंड देन यू अहाँ के कथि कहि से एकर प्रेसिडेंट का लीडरशिप है अहाँ के एज तक दियो कि 40 above you cannot be ANTA president. I mean we need to bring the new generation leadership, and then we should support them from outside, and that's how going to help. अखन तक अपने सब लड़ाई करी छी तो ओकरा कथि करे दे, ओकरा सब के न ल बाबू तपाई लड़ यो गर, हामी डीसी पठाउँछौं, हामी हेल्प गर्छौं, पैसा सब सपोर्ट गर्नु पर्यो नि.
यहाँ जे ओते एज लिमिट करे छी अहाँ के एज डिस्क्रिमिनेशन के मुद्दा लग जाए.
I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Saab. That's why you are there, you know, Bhisma Pitama of the ANTA. Yeah, you're right. I cannot put the age.
Age के discrimination के अलावा से हो जे छै से we can still encourage. I mean, to Jay's point, I mean, don't put it in the bylaws, but still the encouragement should be on the younger generation to take over the helms of the organization. You know, this is the only way. बच्चा सबके तो जाइत पाइत ई सब चीज नहीं बुझल छै ने, and hopefully we haven't polluted their minds with all of those.
हमरा लाइक केना रहल है, we are we are complaining this. What are the solutions? I'm looking for what should ANTA do? What are the solutions that you're thinking of? What should ANTA, the current president, do to bring this new generation into this community?
Okay, so I have two suggestions. So ANTA current president, what they can do, you should create a next gen fund. जैसे कि ऐठा अमेरिका में रहे वाला बच्चा सबका नेपाल में प्रोजेक्ट करेला 4000-5000 डॉलर दियो every कथि कहै छै अहाँ का summer vacation में they can go do the project on the half of on the ANTA, funded by ANTA. So that is encouragement. So then parents will support that. You know, in the same way in America में अहाँ के बहुत ही बच्चा सब अखन अहाँ के हाई स्कूल लेवल में छै, उ सब अहाँ के बढ़िया कॉलेज में आईवी लीग स्कूल में गेले है, तो उ सब के एकटा वही में करू कि ऐठा के बच्चा सब if you want to go to the Ivy League school, how do you encourage them? Give them that one kind of अहाँ के एक डिपार्टमेंट बनावियो, वही सब के दियो, वही सब कनी फंड दियो, रिकॉग्नाइज करियो, वही सब के एम्पावर करियो, इन सब के रिकॉग्नाइज करियो, you know, अवार्ड दियो. So that is one thing. तेसर भेले कि अहाँ सब के वही सब के देखियो, look, this is very important. ANTA, the culture, your root is very, very important for your survival even in America. After one generation, who are you? Are you like, see, अखन देखियो जना Chinese सब कते कह रहल छै, अखन Chinese आदमी अहाँ के president का जीते वाला कोनो चांस नहीं है, तब वो president ला लड़ले. Why? They are not doing for win the presidency. They are highlighting their culture, their race. I mean, like Chinese Americans, right? We have to have Nepali Madhesi Americans here. We have to promote that thing, sense of, hey, just involve in this one. This will give you leadership skill. You can, you know, utilize this in your corporate America. You know, your career.
Let me.
Those are the things
sorry.
I would say.
Mukesh Dai ke mane unko Mukesh Dai, sorry, we are on a time constraint, so I want to move on. You have anything to add here, brother?
राजेश जी, हम सब बोल सकते.
ए सॉरी हम हमारा ये अथी नहीं बोल रहे, धर्मेंद्र जी बोलू, अहाँ के तो कट जाइए, बोलू.
नहीं, हमरा बुझाइल जे मतलब कहीं बाद में हम सबसे पहले आवे चाहे छलिए कुछ पहल का वाला पॉइंट पर सबको के नमस्कार एक बेर फेरू.
जी बोलो.
और हमर आवाज सुनै छी?
अब सुनाइए बढ़िया से सुनाइए, बोलो.
अच्छा, हम पहले तक कुछ दो चारटा बात देखली, बहुत देर से सुनै छी हम. कुछ पॉइंट पर हम हाईलाइट करे चाहे छी, तब के बाद हम अपन बात राख के हमरा फिर विदा ले. इनफैक्ट पहले तो हम देखलिए बहुत बात चर्चा भेल फाउंडर पर. तो ANTA के फाउंडर सबसे एक रूट कॉज है जै के वजह से झगड़ा झंझट शुरू भेल. हमर अपन नितांत बात करै छी, जेना पहले हमरा सबके विजय शाह जी रहे तो उनका एकटा रहे फाउंडर के वजह से एकटा मन में बैठल. तकर बाद दूसर का बात बेर भेलै तो फिर वह फाउंडर वाला बात अलै, तैसे फिर लोग के इशू भ गेलै. अभियो हम देख रहल छी जे जब भी कोनो इशू होय छै त एमे फाउंडर सब इन्वॉल्व होय छै, और फाउंडर सब चाहे छै जे हम अपन वीटो पावर लगाबी और संस्था के आगाड़ी बढ़ाबी. लेकिन वास्तव में ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एना नहीं बनल छै. ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ई छै बनल जे फाउंडर सब के इनकरेज करे के है न्यू जनरेशन के लिए, संस्था के आगाड़ी बढ़ाबे के लिए. फाउंडर के बहुत रिस्पेक्टेड छै, और फाउंडर सब आदमी हम देखे छी जे सब कोई ओतबे चाहे छै जे संस्था केना बाँचल रहतै. फाउंडर हमेशा से सपोर्ट करै छै, लेकिन एमे की भ रहल छै, लोग के मन में ना बैठल छै जे फाउंडर सब
धर्मेंद्र जी यहाँ के
हमरा सब के इरिटेट कर. मैं यहाँ कुछ भाई तो एक चीज के हटावे के लिए ANTA बायलॉज में भी हम सब एडवाइजिंग कमिटी के एकटा, जब हम सब बायलॉज के अमेंडमेंट करने रही है, वही पीरियड में हम सब एकटा ANTA के एग्जीक्यूटिव एडवाइजर के रूप में फॉर्म करने रही है. वही में 7 मेंबर्स के लिए ऑप्शन देल गेल रहे. एडवाइजर राखल जा सके छै फाउंडर बैकबोन छै ANTA के, और बिना फाउंडर के टीम के ANTA आगाड़ी नहीं बढ़ सके छै. तो वही के लेल एकटा लिमिटेशन हो पड़ते, एकटा सर्टेन कायदा कानून हो पड़ते जे लेवल से जाए. यदि मान लियो अभी के जनरेशन कहली जे बहुत डाइवर्स लोग सब आबि गेलै ANTA में, पहले जी का नहीं छै, समय सापेक्ष नहीं छै, जहिया आवश्यकता रहे तहिया फाउंडर सब बहुत आगाड़ी लग गेलै संस्था के. We really appreciate that, but now the term is that founders would think something more what ANTA is doing now. Founders सबके काज है अभी के सिचुएशन में पॉलिसी मेकिंग के. हमर सजेशन ये है कि हम चाहब जे फाउंडर के टीम जे छै से सब पॉलिसी बना के ANTA के सपोर्ट करे, कि अहाँ सबके जे जेना हम सब कन्वेंशन करै छी, वही कन्वेंशन में फाउंडर सब मिल के जे है से हमरा सबके ई पॉलिसी हबो, अहाँ ओइ में टाइम लिया, एकटा फोरम राखू वही फोरम में पॉलिकन रहे छे इलेक्शन में अपन मैंडेट लगायल रहे छे तकर अलावा फाउंडर सब अपन ही मैंडेट देथिन अहाँ सबके ई मैंडेट पूरा करही you are planning. So this is the first thing. Second, हम
धर्मेंद्र जी यहाँ फिर ब्रेक बढ़ा रहा छी
जी राजेश सर सॉरी धर्मेंद्र सर के ऑडियो कनेक्ट ब्रेक भे रहल से राजेश सर हमने के कनेक्ट टाइमो लिमिटेड
जी
ओकर में ध्यान देवल जाए
हाँ ललित जी के बात से बहुत सहमत छी जे मतलब
Dharmender ji, break I think you brought a very valid point, and I would like founders to think upon those points and see what we can do, and let's move forward. The goal was to move forward.
टाइम हमने के अब खत्म भे गल 4:30 तक मात्र ई सेशन के टाइम रहल के एकरा कंक्लूजन और ले जाल दो राजेश सर
तब हम फाउंडर सब के सॉरी आई हैड few more points actually, and moving forward हम जे अभी तक बात के लिए धर्मेंद्र जी रेज करके those are valid points actually from ANTA members too, है ना. Moving forward हम हर एक फाउंडर के एक मिनट देवे रहल छी that will for conclusion give give a solution you believe is different from each other. What should give us 2 or 3 solutions in 1 minute? What should we do moving forward to help ANTA foster more, help bring a new generation into the community? Line by line that Annapurna Didi, as always, I'll के पास 1 minute है दूर या 3 solution. No, not going back, just the solution. What do you think?
Oh, mute.
Mute Messi. Annapurna Didi, mute. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sure. I recommend that we should think about it and pursue on writing a far-sighted policy, which means under by law. And it's not every year. Have like at least for 10 years good. And then on that one, add the principles, like guiding principle for the organization. We don't have that. That makes like ethics, and engage the members as much as you can. Give them some rights and duty in practical, involve them as they are the leader of the organizations. Thank you.
Thank you, Didi. Mukesh Dai, again, the same question to all the founders. What should we do for ANTA that each member feel that founders are really there to help? A valid point is that maybe there was partiality, है ना? Or what should we do moving forward to bring the next generation actually into the community?
First of all, I think every Nepali organization is struggling with the same thing, how to bring new generation. And part of the reason is we have invisible segregation within our Nepali community. As you all know, traditionally we had most of the people came here in the student visa, then they became a green card and a citizen, and that path. But the path has been changed and several paths has been opened, DV or asylum or refugee or so many others, CH1 or L1 and so many of them. So now, in order for ANTA or any Nepali organization moving forward, they're going to have to cater the needs of each demographic, at least 1 or 2 need. Every need cannot be catered. Or bring some program to make them more inclusive, and that invisible segregation should go away slowly. And in that in itself will be the great example to bring all the children or next generation, because everybody will feel at home. With respect to whether or not we were partial and how can we clear that perception, of course, it's not reality. I think that there is a method of communication, or if anybody has questions, we will get a chance to clarify. But I know that none of us are in a situation that none of us have any reason, valid reason, to be a partial and favoring one or other. Because there's not, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but nobody's entitled to their fact. Like Patrick Moynihan used to say, Senator from New York. I believe the same thing, that I will be happy to clarify, but give me one reason I would support A versus B. There's no way. So
okay, thank you, Dai. Moving forward with the time constraints, actually, Lalit Dai, your thoughts on your closing points on what we just discussed.
I have no additional thought than what both guys shared, and one of the things that live by example. I think we all, whoever in the leadership position is, we have all opportunity. You guys in the executive committee, learn from the past, live by example. What I call it attraction, not promotion. You do good work, people will come to you. They will let the work more than your talk. Do the talk, whatever. Let you work with example. So thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Dr. Pramod Kansar.
I also go along with all the views that Mukesh said, Lalit ji said. And what I would say specifically, if you are looking forward to build this organization stronger, then we have to focus on leadership. And in order to focus on leadership, first the leadership has to agree what kind of leadership we need for the future. Okay, so that's one thing. Second, when this happens, and when we come to a point where convention happens, we have to try to make the umbrella as big as possible, if it is possible to keep this organization together. If it does not happen, does not happen. But if you want to make it happen, then that is what has to be done, and founders and others have to come together and amend the bylaws in order to provide safeguards so that this organization does not keep going off the rails all the time. And then specify, maybe as Lalit ji said earlier, maybe we need to think over what our real mission is and narrow it down and then streamline it.
Thank you, sir. Naveen ji.
धन्यवाद राजेश जी. I think सब कहिए दलखिन सब चीज हमरा कोनो चीज बेसी ऐड करे के नहीं, but I'd like to say a couple of things. First of all, ये सब चीज हम सब जे फॉरवर्ड लुकिंग पॉलिसी और ये सब बना रहल छी, अखन के स्टेल में जावेद काल दूर नहीं है तो ये सब किछ होवे वाला नहीं छे. So first of all, we have to focus on how to get rid of this stalemate that we have present in the organization. ये नहीं करबे त कोनो चीज नहीं है. बाकी के जैसे से सजेशन सब चीज दे दलखिन सबको. I agree with Annapurna ji, Kansar, Lalit, everybody. They have pretty much said what all of us would agree to. So that's all fine. As for partiality or impartiality ke je baat se, founders, we are not taking anybody's. I don't think that we have any intention to take anyone's side or anything like that. I think if there are sentiments like that, people should definitely come forward and say, hey, why is it that you're supporting one versus the other, and give us the reason, like Mukesh Dai said, give us the reason. I think there are people, if they have the perception, even the perception, that is how founders of Kakro support law also. I think they should come to us. We are not unreachable. Kakro J is very active. J ke contact karu. Kakro, any of us, you know how to get a hold of us, and we will make sure that your voice gets heard, and we are doing the things to address your concerns. I mean, I absolutely have no problems with that. Anybody, because our hearts are clear. We are not taking anybody's side.
Certainly. Thank you. Jai Bandalji.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, AJ and Rajesh to holding this conference. So हम वहाँ का एक हब की number one priority देख रहा है कि at founders no cost we wanna see ANTA losing the non-profit status. Okay, so we need to fix this whatever is going on. If you guys cannot fix it, founder will. This is time has come. Founder should come and fix this problem. That's number one. Number two, we have to run the organization by policies and bylaws and system. Because now we are the organization is becoming bigger. Their understanding is getting clear. So we have to build that systematic policies, SOPs, and the bylaws. Third, systematic system technology. member बनाउने अहिले आफ्नै मान्छेले जसरी पनि member बनाउँछ, it has to be all digital. So त्यसको लागि technical system अहिले धेरै छ already. If you need any help, connect me. Membership कसरी बनाउने, कसरी renewal गर्ने, कसरी finance गर्ने, त्यो system हामीले बनाउनु पर्छ. Third, membership लाई जसरी मुकेश दाले भन्नुभयो, we have to now several dissect गर्नुपर्छ. We have to segmentation of कुन चाहिँ category को student हो, भर्खर आएको डिबीबाट हो कि यहाँ काम गरेको 10 वर्ष हो, यहाँ veteran हो 30 वर्षदेखि बसिरहेछ. Everybody has a different way we can connect to them, and then we can take their resources, we can help them. Number 5, the most important thing is a culture. हाम्रो culture जो एन्टा को जुन छ, जुन हाम्रो root छ मिथिलामा, र त्यहाँबाट जुन हामीले ठुलोलाई रेस्पेक्ट गर्नुपर्छ, जुन अहिले हाम्रो ल्याङ्ग्वेजलाई यहाँ खतम हुन दिनु भएन, त्यो कुरालाई कल्चर इज मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेन्ट. एन्टा शुड फोकस. र last important, unite. Forget about only ENTA. We need to reach out as a founder or anybody who has a connection. We should unite all the Madhesi in America. किनभने अहिलेको यो कलियुगमा एउटा मात्र शक्ति छ, त्यो भनेको unity, power of unity. हामी दुर्गा मातालाई किन पूजा गर्छौं? She has 10 hands, 1 brain. हाम्रो मिशन र भिजन एउटै हो सबै अर्गनाइजेसनको. बट यो युनाइट गर्न सक्यो भने we can move forward. Otherwise we'll lose.
Thank you, Jai Mandalji. First, last but not least, I would like to thank the current executive committee member for allowing me to, moderate this. And it looks like, let's see, we are 10 minutes over the time. I had a lot more points to discuss, obviously with lack of time. Hopefully this will continue, but I would really hope we as a community, as a Nepali Madhesi community, move forward thinking this is for us. This is not individual entity. This is for us. This is for our kids, their identity, and their prosperity in the future. So thank you very much. Jai Desh, Jai Madhesh. Thank you.
Please, धन्यवाद राजेश सर for your moderation. It's really nice. फाउंडर सब के भी हम धन्यवाद दे वाला चाहिए. अपन अपने सब विचार रखनो, अपने सब के suggestions, recommendations. Definitely we are going to follow it, and then we'll adjust whatever we can do for this current executive committee. I again thank you. And then the second program is now over, so we are going to move to the third program. And
धीरज जी, हम एक बार thank you कहा चाहबे, and राजेश जी अपने के and all the founders, thank you so much. आहा सब कोनो partiality नहीं केलों आई program में आपका. You have come for ANTA, and I'm sure if you would have been invited by Dr. Sahu to help, you would have gone there as well. So I don't see you guys being partial. What I have liked about you all, that you all have talked unanimously about having no control over ANTA, setting up a hierarchical, that over us. And you have been, you are a champion for Madhesh in the ways XCOM can truly impart to. The problem I see here, which I think third round would also address, but I'm utilizing the presence, those who are here, that the problem started in October 2019 when the trustee board was being brought. And I am so surprised that this discussion, what we are having today, we are seeing the tail end of the crisis. The crisis had started 2019 October itself, but we did not intervene at that time. We two groups were fighting with the emails after email. 85 emails had come, and then at that time the wise thing should have been done, which hindsight is affecting everything right now. No convention should have been organized at that moment. Why did we have to go to convention when there were two clear big groups fighting for that trustee structure to be brought? And that I had to face. People think, I have to really honestly say on record today that I did not read that paper, what was being designed to overrule the CEC. I was never been part of that. So when that kind of proposal were brought to the table, for me, I was left alone fighting with already a huge issue in ANTA. And I think my road from January 2019 till today was filled with obstacles. There were hidden motives, agenda, casteism, everything. And by the time I had to deal with it, I had no way other than just leaving this post and saying goodbye to CEC. Though I won the election. I contacted every single ANTA member to vote for me. I did not play with electronic whatever system. People may think that I fuzzed the number, but that's not the truth. So I think the crisis had happened in 2019 itself, but we overlooked it, imagining the new committee would come and everything will be fine. But it's a series of problems which when I came to ANTA, the problem was already there in 2017. 2017, the problem, we overlooked 2017 problem. Again, we bombarded with issues in 2019. And the reason I am facing, my committee is facing this obstacle is not just because of Aparajita's, inability to handle ANTA. It's about all those baggages which have been brought to us, this person, that person. So the motive to help community was completely derailed by the hidden motives here. So I think before founders, leave this, meeting, I would urge you all that please sit down for several more meetings and help me understand. If I have to leave ANTA today, I'm willing to quit ANTA today, but I would never let ANTA die just because of my ego. I let all my committee members contacted Dr. Sahu. He comes on the phone and then he says that he doesn't want to talk. So this is you guys should know this reality that our committee has contacted everyone. So in Madhesh, the popularity of committees, negotiation committee, deal-making committee, that should not be the way to serve ANTA. The ANTA should be served by people who have motive to serve ANTA, who has time to serve ANTA, who really can, take ANTA to next generation. So I think I have tried my best. I have not left a single stone unturned when it comes to contact the entire team. I cannot go and beg to Mr. Vijay Singh that, hey, your deal is been accepted, now you come and support me. I never did that. I have told him, and I think it's a failure on the entire ANTA part that 2019 issue was overlooked, 2017 issue was overlooked, and I'm sure Ma and all those things which had happened, we overlooked even that time, thinking that every new committee would sustain. No new committee can sustain. I can write even today, even after I leave, new leadership would come, the baggage gets carried from one committee to the other committee to the other. Where will you find genuine people to serve ANTA? So it's a very risky route.
Sorry for interruption, but yeah, we are going out of time.
I'm so thankful that you all are here, and please continue talking. All 7 founders, my humble request, because I don't want my tenure to be the end of the non-profit status for ANTA. I don't want that kind of stigma to attach to me and my work. So please continue talking, and I'm willing to take any constructive criticism of my work, or if you want me to take any action in future, I am saying that my committee would do. And thank you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aprajita. Now we are moving to the third session of our program, and that is going to be moderated by our respected advisor, founder, and renowned person of ANTA community, Mrs. Annapurna Devji.
Namaskar sabke. Thank you, Dhiraj. So I was trying to see if my panelists, I'm going to call some name. I'm seeing that there's 2 missings. Dr. Sushil Chaudhary, I saw you, so you are here. Dr. Namrata Raut, she's here. Kiran Shitaula ji is here. Krishna Jhaj is here. Sushil Jhaj here. I haven't seen Dr. Rakesh Mandal. Dr. Rakesh, if you are here, please say something, or I just looked it now. I haven't seen you.
Sorry,
so
Dheeraj bhai, 5 minute ke bathroom break dahan sabke. बात कहलिए. It's just saying, you know,
Absolutely.
I am going for a bathroom break, okay?
Absolutely. No, we can take 5 minutes break, and in that time we can check the panelist here, Didi Annapurna Didi. That's
Okay.
fine. Yeah, we'll start at 4:55.
Okay, so taking break.
Yeah.
I said so before. Yeah, okay. Thank you. So meanwhile, Dr. Rakesh ji or Dr. Mr. Raj Yadav, अपने सब छिए ठाम अपने? हमने देख लो या. Okay, so if you're here, you know I'm calling your name, but I'm sure you are coming because we have.
राजेश जी के बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. मृदुला
राज यादव जी छथिन.
मृदुला जी कखन घुरथिन?
Yeah.
राजेश जी.
And Dr. Rakesh Mandal अपने छिए?
दीदी नहीं देख रहल छी. Maybe.
Yeah, हम देखलिए राइटो साइड में गेलिए, लेकिन हम नहीं देखलिए उनकर नाम अपने. Unless he's in the, I don't see on the iPhone. Somebody is on the iPhone. अपने के छिए जे iPhone पर छिए?